It's just wasted content.
It was about Kenny.
Welcome to the Cigar Hustlers Podcast, episode 268, with your host, Michael the King Stepankevich, and his producer, Mike BDP Palmer. This week, we would like to welcome back to the show international cigar celebrity, Mr. Skip Martin and Mike Rosales.
Michael
Rosales.
That wasn't my fault. That's not around there.
And me, I'm Phil, your cameraman. My favorite part of Greg's wedding was when Skip nuzzled Boot's neck.
Do you know everyone at this table is named Michael?
Oh.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, that's right. You are too, aren't you?
This is a Quad Mike show.
Quad Mike show. All right, better overhead garage storage with a rack above. Why must we damage our home just to gain overhead storage? A rack above has challenged the status quo by creating a superior freestanding overhead garage storage rack that will not harm your home's trusses or ceilings. A rack above features a 48-inch shelf that spans the entire width of any garage and adjusts to your height, keeping items within arm's reach and allowing you to ditch the ladder. A rack above will fit any size garage. The independent telescoping legs adjust to go up and down steps behind hot water heaters, around AC units, and between electrical boxes. A rack above is the last overhead garage storage rack you will ever need to purchase. A rack above is easily disassembled and reinstalled in any garage. No matter where life takes you, a rack above will be with you. Call for pricing 407-474-1214 or visit arackabove.com.
So I didn't get to have mine installed
we had scheduling
because of
problem.
the wedding and
Yes,
whole
yes.
shit. But it should be happening this week. I'm very
Is it
excited
this
about
week?
it. Yeah.
Oh.
I'll reach out to him, make sure that we get it ironed out.
I think you guys could use a rack above in the office upstairs.
I think that you can use a rack
certainly.
above at your house
I don't have enough shit.
in the garage.
I don't use garbage. I don't
Just
collect
above.
stuff.
You don't use garbage? What are you saying? Are you saying that I have garbage in my house, sir?
There's a pretty good chance.
Oh, he saw the garage
Wow.
because he was there yesterday.
Wow.
You've got 6 different things. You got at least 2 different robot vacuum cleaners right next to each other.
Oh, one's a mop, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too much.
One is a vacuum and one is a mop.
I thought you
It's
didn't
too
use the
much.
vacuum anymore. Or do you not use the mop? There's one of them you're not using.
I don't use the vacuum.
Oh, okay.
You need to declutter your life.
I do.
I'm all about decluttering.
Are you?
Feng shui.
Well, we can clutter your life a little bit. I'll give you some of my shit.
No.
That'll be perfect. And I'll get you a rack above for Christmas. And you
Do
can
it.
take my shit and put it in your house.
It would be empty.
A rack above was Steve that you met at the wedding. The guy missing a couple of fingers off one hand.
Uh-huh.
That's the rack above
He's the
guy.
rack above guy.
That's his product.
Yeah.
Well, my so like I have one closet that has one box that has a Christmas tree that folds up like this. We use the same dead Charlie Brown Christmas tree every year.
I've
Other
seen
than
Think
that-
how nice it would be on a 4-foot shelf, though. All the
Yeah,
way.
you
there's
can put it up on the
There's
floor.
a massage table in there. I don't like extra. I don't like stuff. Mike can tell you.
Yeah.
It's very simplistic.
I'll throw it away.
Or
Tell
give
us,
it, yeah,
Michael.
give it away.
Tell
Well,
us.
I mean, it's
Or
like
give it away.
I haven't used this in a couple of weeks. You want it? And then I just throw it away.
It's a refill for the. Doesn't matter. I know I'm going to use it. Let's buy a new one.
You have a coffee maker?
I have like 5 coffee.
Whoa. Hold on.
5 different kinds of coffee.
That's a little complicated,
It's not complicated at all. They all have a place.
They'll have a specific
Now,
meaning?
when I got my last coffee thing, the new Fellows pour over thing, I had to put the cold brew thing up in the pantry.
It's time to. What's it
Because
doing in there,
'Cause
man?
there was only so many spaces on the counter.
What's it doing in there? You're not going to use it. Why
I
is it
use
there?
it every now and then.
Has it been past 3
He's
weeks?
not going to give it to Michael. He's got his own coffee set up at his house.
So, no, let's talk
Mike could
about
run a
the cold brew.
Let's break this
Yeah,
down.
he's got a
Mike
small
could run a
Starbucks.
coffee store out
Right.
of his house.
He's a
quite-
fucking barista. You
Quite
kidding me?
the impressive setup. And it's all
Yeah.
delicious.
No, if I sit down, if I'm going to Michael's house, like, you want coffee? Even if I don't want coffee, I'm
Right.
like, fuck yeah, I want coffee.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's world class.
it is. It is. You want to talk about the cold brew?
No,
What
it's
are we
pretty
talking about?
dope.
Only second to
enjoyed
his
it.
bourbon
Oh, the
collection.
cold brew at my
Nitro?
house.
Yeah, the nitro.
Yeah, I
It's
got,
really good.
got the NO2 going. It's nice. It's good
Oh,
shit.
because you got the new thing at Christmas.
That's
Yeah.
one of those things that sounds good on paper, but like the nitro cold brew we have. So we have 2 beer taps at the office,
Uh-huh.
and they switched one of them to because we weren't going through the beer fast enough. They switched one to cold brew, and
Right.
You're not a fan of it?
I don't like it as much.
I think it's money. I've
Well,
had the one that's
The one- you know, the one that you had it's got more foam to it. Ours
more
doesn't-
foamy?
Yeah, ours doesn't have that much. So
Crank it up.
We need to adjust that.
yeah, you just got to gauge the nitrous. That's all.
After Sean sends me his lighter, I'll tell him to adjust the.
I mean, when I drink cold brew coffee, it's like 88.3% sugar and milk anyway.
Oh.
So it's like it's got to be really.
How did you
really
get to the
strong.
0.3? I mean, 88 You're really specific there on the
Well, I was,
number.
You've seen him measure the cigars. He's like 0.3 sugar. There
I
you
was,
go.
it's like 1/7,
1/7. Okay.
whatever.
So we've had a fun weekend so far. We're hanging out. There's a lot of bonding going on.
Yeah, a lot of shopping.
Unfortunately,
A lot of shopping.
Arlen's in the studio. She understands a lot of shopping, and Skip looking at her. So
She has-
Notice
she-
how she looked away. She was like,
yeah. Well, she started with the fuck you eyes and then drifted away,
Yeah.
as any
Gave you-
loving
gave you
wife
the
would.
look.
Yeah.
Stop talking about that.
And unfortunately, Phil didn't make it to the wedding, but Boots was there. So
Well,
yeah.
Phil wasn't
Yeah.
invited.
yeah, Phil wasn't invited.
It's that cutoff, so he didn't have the big tent.
I
Yeah.
heard he was pretty salty.
Yeah,
He
there's-
was on the list right after Jeff Moutet, who also did not get in.
Jeff Mateo was also not included, unfortunately. But he was in Cuba
Well, he went to Cuba, so he has an excuse. Now.
smoking postañas.
Right, with
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the crying baby or
yes. Yes.
Keanu.
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
We
So
went-
the crying baby won.
We went with the crying
Right,
baby.
Crying
Crying baby was
Yes.
the
Keanu didn't get invited, which I was a little upset about.
yeah.
But
We'll
You
have to
should at
show.
least had him park cars. The
He's
guy
gonna-
looked just like Keanu.
He's
that was
going
out
to
there
be
parking
so
cars.
excited that he was mentioned on this podcast. You kidding me?
Oh, he's very upset that he didn't get to meet them because
Yeah.
he took
I mean,
the day off.
well, he could have done it today, but he was tired
Right. So busy.
from.
so I have a beef with the guy parking cars.
I heard, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so
So we pull up. He's there. He's the first experience you have at this venue,
at the Howie Mansion,
At the venue.
yes.
Yeah. So he's leaning against the thing, looking like
Not giving a fuck.
He just got picked up off the highway. So we kind of say, hey, he goes, park anywhere you want. So we pull up right behind Greg's car, turn off the engine, get all our stuff together. We get out of the car. He waits. So right when I was getting out of the car, he goes, oh, but you can't park here. Like, well, you literally said it anywhere I want.
You
Anywhere.
led with anywhere.
And he's like, well, we can't have 2 rows here. And I'm like, there's clearly a space here.
Right.
He's like, well, we can't have 2 rows here. So I'm like, okay. Of course, when we came out of the wedding,
There were 2 rows.
there were 2 rows.
Yeah.
I think he just didn't like maybe the way somebody looked at him and decided to pull a power move. I don't know.
Could be.
But
It's a weird mansion. Do you know the story behind the mansion? Here's what I heard allegedly. So apparently this is the guy who figured out how to pasteurize, what the fuck, orange
Pasteurize.
juice.
okay.
So it's old and ancient and all this other fucking shit, but like there are specific rules that go on in that place that were fucking kind of. I'm like, no, I just shut the fuck up. I'm doing whatever I want. You don't have the control
The
over
lady
me.
running it was a little bit of a Nazi.
A bit of a Gestapo.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little intense, There was a couple of them. You should have seen the really old curmudgeon old lady that was in the office when I met. So I got there early to do the dinner rehearsal.
Oh, the pictures?
Yeah, and I got there pre-morning shit, so I had to take a poop when I rolled through. And the only bathroom they let you use is in the office. I'm like, well, I'm not shy, and you're gonna.
So that was a real office, not just set up like the
yeah,
bedroom.
no, that's where she
Oh,
worked.
okay.
She-
Well,
that's where she worked.
I had a beef with the bathrooms too because where the venue was downstairs,
Mm-hmm.
there's one kind of guest bathroom.
That's the bathroom
Right,
in the
that's the
office.
for 80 people,
Yeah.
Right.
right? And I'm like, hey, there's a line of like 6 people, drunk bridesmaids, little
Right.
kids holding themselves. I mean, it's like a whole thing. I'm like, well, there's got to be another bathroom.
Right.
No, there's not. In this whole place, there's no other bathroom. No.
Wow, that's
So I'm
what
like-
someone told you.
So I'm like, there's not one upstairs because I heard there was one upstairs. No, there's no one. You can't go upstairs. I'm like, that's not what I asked. I said, is there a bathroom upstairs?
Yeah.
Like, you can't go upstairs. I'm like, okay. So I asked the waitress. I said, hey, is there another bathroom? She goes, well, there's a staff bathroom.
There's one in the kitchen. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I go back
One in
through
the
the kitchen, and it's literally nicer than the.
The one in the
yeah,
front.
it was
Yeah.
quite spacious,
Yeah, it's spacious.
except for the sinks on the outside.
Yeah,
Other
correct.
Than that.
Well, that's fine.
Right.
But you could have a whole thing in there.
Yep.
Like you could rest, a nap,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Or get a snack.
Bang a bridesmaid, whatever you
Oh,
wanted.
well,
I'm sure
whatever.
things have
I think.
happened in that
Yeah, I'm
bathroom.
sure.
Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't.
There's
going
like a
down.
little seat, a settee
Yeah.
thing. I'm like, this is fancy. So then, of course, I
This
go
is a
out to
lovely
all I go out to the other bathroom. I'm like, hey. So pretty soon there's a steady stream of people into the staff bathroom.
Right.
So then I heard I was coming past one of the staff. They're like, somehow they found out about the kitchen bathroom. I'm like,
They've discovered the bathroom. Those rat bastards.
yeah. So
Which
Whatever.
that's fucking weird.
it just seems like
Like you,
It seems like there should be a number of bathrooms per guest. Like if you
Yeah,
can have
some-
100 guests, you should have at least.
You know what? What's kind of funny
2.
is I bet that they have there's some type of permitting that has shown. Yeah, well, we have all these toilets, but then they don't
They
let
don't
you
let
use
it,
them.
right?
When we were upstairs, I'm glad that we're dissecting all the things that went wrong. But it was first of all, it was a lovely
It
wedding.
was lovely.
Oh, it was
wedding.
great, yeah.
It went off
It was
well.
a fantastic experience. Well, you can break down some of the cool shit, but this is some of the weird shit that we got to experience. So we're upstairs as groomsmen, right? And
You can't go on the bed. I heard the bed was pretty.
what? All right, I'll just leave then. Okay.
I mean, is that where you were headed? With
I
the
was
bed?
going. Yes.
Yeah.
This is a podcast.
What I'm saying-
trying to tell the story,
What
and
I'm
you just
sa-
cut me off. Skate.
What I'm
picture.
pointing,
Trying
what
to
I'm
paint a
pointing
picture.
out here is,
Yeah.
it wasn't just a thing you noticed. I heard it from like 5-6
Yeah.
people. There was a thing with the bed.
Yeah, so in order to use the bathroom, you have to go into this one bedroom and it has like a Jack and Jill bathroom. And they go, but don't touch the bed. I'm like, what if I want to jump on the fucking bed? What if I want to instigator?
If you hadn't told me,
Right, yeah.
I would've
I would,
never
Yeah,
even
if she
thought.
hadn't
I would've-
mentioned it, I would have walked right past the bed.
I would have
every
left the
time.
bed alone.
Right.
Now I'm inclined to fucking...
Now I have to see why I can't touch
Now
his
I want to
bed.
go under the bed. I want to move the sheets, you know.
Oh, don't mess up the sheets.
Yeah, no. I was like,
No.
So did you?
it's none of your damn business.
Mm.
Wouldn't you like
Boots,
to know?
Boots did. I saw Boots on the bed.
Yeah. Boots
Oh.
did, but Phil didn't.
No, Phil
No,
wasn't,
Phil wasn't
there.
there.
Phil
I wasn't
around.
Here's what's
Mask
one,
with a
I'll
clash
tell you
with the
about the
hat.
groomsmen that drives me nuts. It drives me up a fucking wall. Okay.
Okay,
I
I'll
went-
tell you the thing that set me
Oh,
off
God.
about the groomsmen.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So I went to go use the bathroom in the bedroom that I can't touch the bed. And there's piss all over the toilet seat.
Ooh,
So
Well, you know who that was.
I'm not going to say exactly
We-
who it
we had
was.
that problem here.
I'm not going to say exactly who it was, but I'm going to tell you this. I fucking know that it's only one of 6 men that are in the same room that are sharing this bathroom. And then here's the second thing that make matters
so
worse.
it's like an episode of Knives Out.
Yeah.
Who pissed on the
Yeah.
toilet?
So, well, it becomes a Seinfeld episode for me, right? So now I'm pissed off that there's piss on the seat, especially because there's only 6 fucking slapdicks in the other room. Number one. Number two, I go to wash my hands, and I unwrap the fucking soap.
Ooh, that's not a good sign.
So that means, and I know pretty much all of the groomsmen have been in this bathroom at this point, that none of them use the soap to wash their hands. I'm like, you guys are a bunch of fucking savages. I mean, what the fuck is wrong? You know, we're gonna be shaking hands. You guys are all touching and shit. Like, what the fuck? Be somewhat clean.
This
you
is
know?
why everybody gets dabs. Just I can't.
Like,
Yeah.
you rat bastard.
Me too.
It was remarkable.
So
Go ahead.
Is that why Greg's
Dude.
son came around with the hand sanitizer?
One of the people that left the bathroom,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
caught him in the hallway. I said,
Right.
"You motherfucker, you didn't wash your hands." He goes, "Yes, I did." Now you just fucking lied to me.
Wait,
Is
Greg
this how
has
we're
a-
starting as
Greg
family?
has-
Is
Greg
this
has
how
a
we're?
son?
He has a stepson.
Yeah, Axel.
The dude with
Oh,
the
okay,
ponytail.
Axel, yeah.
The guy with
That's
the
it.
ponytail and the sort of maroon suit.
Listen, I'm your fucking uncle. Don't you lie to your uncle. I'll murder you.
Oh, that's right. Now you're
That's
his
right.
uncle.
That's right.
Uncle Mikey.
Uncle Mikey.
So
Poppy
the
Greg.
groomsman wearing the black belt set me
Yeah.
off a little bit.
Oh,
I could not see anything else.
really?
The large
Scott.
guy. Scott.
So they're
yes,
wearing
Scott.
all white,
And he-
head to toe.
Yeah.
And I noticed he had a black belt.
Here's what's lame about that, right? What's lame is the excuses and shit that you hear about it. You know, I couldn't find one in my size. Like,
No, I can understand that.
if you had 2 months to prepare for this,
That's what I don't understand.
then you could have gotten the white belt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was out like a thief in the night too. He was gone before dinner.
Yeah, I don't think he ate. He just
Yeah,
all of a sudden.
fucking poof poof.
But he
gone.
always does that when he's here, though. He sort of drives up, shows up in the middle of the night,
And then
hangs
just
around for a
disappears?
while, and then poof, then he's out. But he normally has his kids with him. Those two boys.
He really kind of walked. So he was at our wedding,
right.
and at our wedding, he fucking. I love the guy to death. He hit us both. Let me the full disclaimer. He caked
I love
us.
how every time you talk shit about somebody, it's like, okay, but time out.
Time out.
But I
They're a
love him
wonderful
like a
person.
brother,
Well,
but fuck that guy.
No, but you know what it is? It's like, I don't know. Like, when you're good friends with somebody, you can openly say the things that fucking piss you off about them, right? Whatever the case may be.
Yeah, right.
You know? So, yeah, I mean, Boots definitely knows, and Phil definitely knows, because I'm happy to let him know of all the things that he does. It drives me fucking nuts. So, at my wedding 12 years ago, he fucking booted both Brittany and I in the face with our cake. And then he vanished afterwards. We didn't see him.
Ah.
So I'm explaining to him, I just want you to know, I'm expecting my brother and Alex to experience the same thing as far as the cake is concerned. And he's like, "Oh, I can't do that." No, he's like utter panic starts kind of hitting his face. I can't.
Yeah, that's why he left early.
That's probably why he split.
Left
He's like,
before
if
the
I
cake.
leave before the cake, I can't.
Can't.
Oh, I didn't do it.
Really? He put like just handfuls and walked up and.
Wadded us.
Oh wow!
It's a big ham.
Yeah.
Well, they cut the cake without even letting anybody know.
No.
Arnon was there.
When they cut the cake?
Yeah. There's a
Did
picture.
Greg and Alex cut the cake? I didn't even
Arlen,
see.
¿Estuviste ahí cuando cortaron el cake?
Pastel. There's,
No.
there's a picture.
She said no.
Oh, no.
I did see. I did see a
All I heard
picture of
was,
it happening.
Oh, you got to try the
Oh,
donuts.
did you see a picture?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Highlights of the wedding.
Highlights.
Flaming donuts.
Flaming donuts.
Flaming donuts were
Anybody
amazing.
see them on fire? Were they just hot
Yes,
when you
I
got
saw
there?
them on fire.
I didn't see them on fire.
I brought the
I
kids.
missed the fire.
The boys ate 4 or 5 helpings of the
With,
donuts
Oh, but they were
with,
delicious,
With the
though.
ice cream.
with the ice cream.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
That was money.
that was my
amazing.
highlight of the whole day.
Yeah.
Now, the lights, the little lights, foam lights that you get at the
Oh,
end
the light
too,
sticks, yeah.
the kids fucking love those. They beat the shit out of each other. And then Mr. Michael over here went ahead and stamped my son with
Oh, boy,
the
he
butt
got, it,
end
he
of-
got it good.
He's got a
he got it
he's got a
good.
gash on his forehead.
I was like, make sure when you go to school tomorrow, you let them know you kick my ass.
Matt Hunt selling cigars at the wedding was
Was he
You know,
selling-
High class right
peddling,
there.
peddling
Hey,
cigars?
you know, you got to pay for the gas for getting out there.
yeah.
It was either that or pasta sauce.
It's,
Which one?
It's an hour drive, and and everybody was wearing,
You want some sauce on those donuts?
and the groomsmen were wearing white. You didn't want to push
Little
the
dry.
sauce.
You like
some
the
sauce?
red, or the white? I've
It's,
got both.
it's best you didn't push the sauce. Yeah,
the
so-
weather was nice. It
weather
didn't
was
rain.
perfect. Yeah, it was a little windy, but I'd prefer that over fucking
Oh, yeah,
extremely
we're being
hot.
hot.
it was a
Right.
nice breeze, yeah.
And it was short. It was mercifully short, which I always am a fan of.
Yeah.
You know, not the long drawn out.
It was comical too. There was some nice,
There was some comedy relief.
yeah. The guy that was wearing the referee suit, he did a pretty good
That was
job.
requested. by
Yeah.
the way.
Okay.
He was saying something about falafel or something though. when we
Waffle.
were-
They both said waffles, and when I got to the
To
same
you,
word, I said
waffly,
waffle.
waffly, Mary, waffle.
Yeah, I've never seen people mess that up like that.
Yeah,
That
I don't
was,
know if this is a requirement of his licensing, but he likes to mention who he's
You're supposed to
The-
say that.
he
By
likes-
the power invested me by
he likes to mention his
University,
Universal Life Church and the state of Florida.
It's a real church.
It's a real church out in Colorado.
praise God.
It's part of it's part of you have
The
to
one-
mention it.
here's the one-
they get a plug.
He gets us.
Here's the one thing that you fucked up on is you didn't give them made them say too many words at the same time. Like you
Yeah.
were trying to
Well,
rush
the
through that.
the second part, I had written pause in the vow section. Do you, Greg,
Right.
pause, take Alex, pause.
No, but the
I
best
forgot
part is
put
when you
pause
had
in
to
the
flip.
second half.
You had to flip around your notes so they could read it because they couldn't
Yeah.
get it quite
yeah,
right.
they couldn't
so-
quite get the wording.
Yes.
So hey, right here it says right here.
No, I've learned
lawfully-
that from translating.
Yeah.
That you have to do it in short,
Yeah. You got to do like
bite-sized
3
pieces.
words.
Otherwise, it's just okay. Basically, what he said was,
Exactly.
Do you? Yes. Do you? You start. You fucking. What was that? Spaceballs. Do you? Yes. Do you? Yes. Good. You're married. Kiss her.
Good, because we're out.
All right. Let's fucking move on. Yeah. So I think the wedding was cool, and then the Mission Inn hotel was kind of nice. We hung out afterwards, but we didn't see you. You were busy for a little bit. You were a little wrapped
you
up.
guys
And then
went
you
to
came
bed
out.
early.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal with how I know how to hang out with the tornado that is Roma Craft. Okay, if come by fucking 1:30, if you're not downstairs, I'm fucking out. Because if I am downstairs by the time you come downstairs at 1:30, it's a 6 to 7 a.m. fucking ordeal. Had you have been started, if you were on there at 10 p.m., I know that I probably could have gotten away with like a 3 or maybe a 4. But if
Yeah.
you're, what time did you go to bed?
So
So it's
Greg-
Monday.
Greg
He
and
hasn't
Dana,
slept.
Greg and Dana, and Boots and his wife,
Mm-hmm.
and Chet. I think they left about 2:20, 2:30 or something.
Okay. I
think it's what
I
Chet
went
had
up
told
about
me.
an hour after that.
So it was still that's still pretty early for you.
I was
3:30.
surprised they let them carry on with the boombox as long as they did.
Yeah, there weren't a whole lot of guests at that hotel. I don't think.
There was a big Indian wedding going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly, I think
Because,
that,
it was booked. That's why we stayed somewhere else.
I
We
think
waited
that
too
it's
long.
the way that the acoustics are pitching. So like because you guys were in that little cubby hole,
it went out to the
it
golf
trajected
course.
out towards the golf course and not really hitting the hotel rooms. So I mean, my hotel room wasn't that far over, and I actually stayed on my patio and smoked a little bit and hung out, and I couldn't hear any of that.
I mean, it is North Florida. I'm sure they've seen some wild.
Yeah, you know what I
some
mean?
wild
Like,
shit.
listen, if you're not selling meth and competing with the hotel, they're really not going
Right.
to care.
They've seen some
Yeah, but we were
wild
literally
shit.
like right underneath the actual entrance of the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You couldn't hear
cool.
it.
It was cool.
You couldn't hear it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
So donuts were the best.
That was a highlight for me.
Yeah.
That it was short, brief, was a
Yeah.
highlight.
Except for the bridesmaids toast.
What'd you think of my speech?
Maid
Give
of
me
honor.
give me some
Maid of honor
feedback.
toast.
Was all right.
I thought it ended a little abruptly.
I mean, yeah, I feel like, look, had I just read it on a piece of paper, I would be like, yeah, that's touching, whatever.
Right.
You know, but after the beautiful speech that the maid of honor gave,
Right.
the heart touching,
Hard touching, hurricanes, dead
well
people.
thought through,
Right.
not even her primary language, she's
Right.
working through. He gets up there and it just seemed a little,
short.
It seemed a little half-assed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Compared to hers.
I expected it to be longer.
you did.
Yeah.
Huh.
You got to a point, and I was like, okay, here comes something else. And I'm like, and that's it. Congratulations.
I got the message.
Yeah,
I
the,
got
the gist of,
Yeah.
of everything was well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Michael?
I thought that it was good.
Yeah, he didn't like it either. Okay, perfect. You know, I don't know, man. I didn't have a lot to deliver on. I just felt like, hey,
It was like the lyrics were right, but I wasn't feeling the
Yeah,
tune.
the sincerity of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling the tune.
well, then I delivered exactly how I wanted to deliver. It was perfect. So it was perfect. All right, great.
Oh, exactly.
I would have been a
planned.
little sad if I was Greg.
Yeah, I was hoping for like a tear, something.
If-
you know, a little something.
I was an endearing story about when you were young,
Yeah.
I don't have any of those.
and now you get to pass. You and Brittany get to pass him off to somebody else to take care of him.
Oh, that would have been good.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I was
No longer
expecting-
our responsibility. We're very sorry. It's now yours.
I feel like I'm losing a son, but gaining a
Right.
crazy sister-in-law.
Crazy sister-in-law.
Well, I'm actually.
Hmm.
I found out about the chickens the night before because he talked about the coop. And,
Oh, the-
and
I,
other
was
stuff.
I did
So-
want to
The
mention
2, the 4, then the 5.
I forgot to mention. I was going to bring up kayaks too, like because
Yeah, more outdoorsy
They
stuff.
went kayaking. You know what? Here's what really fucked me up on my speech. I'll tell you. Assholes chiming in. Oh, the chickens! And I'm like, hey, I'm like, what the
Steal
fuck?
your thunder. a
That
little
might have
bit.
been,
Yeah.
might have been my drunk wife.
And that was no. I think it was the other side.
Oh, thank goodness.
Twerking
And-
wife. Twerking.
80
Yeah,
King Palmer
twerking,
twerking highlight.
You know,
Highlight.
so I kind of, at that point I had really, I'm like, I'm kind of losing my train of thought now because you guys, like, I put my pieces together briefly.
Right.
I'm like, I know, okay, I can do this, no problem,
So,
right?
So here's my advice to you after Greg gets a divorce and he's getting married.
So the next time?
The second next wedding?
Just write it down.
I didn't want to write it
I know
down.
you didn't want to, but I know your heart's in the right place.
I just think I need to get better at it.
Yeah, you need to
You
try.
know,
by
I
the
think I need
third
to
or fourth-
practice the
third or fourth
delivery
wedding,
and
you'll
stuff
have
like
it down.
that.
And
I think that's
By
what
the
it.
third or fourth
Yeah,
marriage,
third or
you'll,
fourth
Yeah.
marriage.
you'll have it down.
Yeah, I really believe
Just use
that.
the same thing every time.
I just think that I can shoot it off the hip if I have like some cliff notes really kind of pieced together and
Right.
know exactly and like kind of practice it. I refuse to do that on this one.
I mean, you
So.
could have thrown in a few Spanish words,
Yeah,
just for cultural outreach.
right. Like what?
That's
Donde
the other
estamos?
highlight of the wedding for me, honestly.
Instead of chicken.
Is
just
how
say-
we went from, kind of North Florida, Gator Billy, good times,
Yeah.
to the cultural stuff.
Yeah, that was really cool.
those are my favorite
Ahora
parts.
Loca.
I was a little disappointed that every song that they did had the same song pattern. Like they didn't.
Suavemente.
Mike wanted to show off a different dance moves.
Yeah,
and
no, it was all the same.
he had
all
to
the
do
same.
the same dance.
That's okay, but it was good. It was entertaining. You don't get to see that all the time.
Arlen had
Yeah.
a good time dancing.
Yeah, she was close to twerking.
No,
you could.
She was doing.
Yeah,
the
she was
merengue.
one-
If they
she
would
wanted
have
to-
She's like,
had
this
the
is
taxi,
merengue. This
no,
is
if they would have had the
bachata.
taxi
This
song
is
on there.
Salsa.
If Taxi would have hit, she would have been out
If
there.
Taxi would have hit, they just didn't know.
Yeah, she'd have been. Oh, clear the floor.
If they had had a better DJ, they would have known.
Yeah,
You gotta know your audience.
that's true. But I think that the no, it's something that you don't see all the time.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of neat. But you could definitely tell, like from that point on, like there were two different types of groups.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
like the guy with the stilts in that group, if they'd have shown up earlier, it would have
Oh,
it
yeah.
would have been better, I think, because that's when the party kind of really got.
Yeah, that was a nice touch. I liked when the band came in with the guy.
Well, the one thing here's the deal with this DJ. He comes up to me at the beginning. I say, hey, listen, if you need any help with anything, as the best man, you try and solve any problems, right? If you need any help with anything, let me know. He goes, actually, I do need some help. I'm like, okay, what do you need? What do they want to hear? And
Oh,
I'm like,
man.
excuse me?
He passed out those cards that you basically gave him requests, and he played literally every request.
Because
'Cause
It's like
he
good,
had-
good DJs never take
well,
requests.
no, and he goes, well, they tried contacting
True.
them to get
Oh,
songs.
that was the day probably they called when we were
Yeah.
riding home from the bachelor party.
Yeah, and they never got back to him as to what they wanted to hear.
I mean, I swear to God, if he'd have played "Put Your Right Foot In, Put Your Right Foot Out,"
Hokey pokey?
like he was doing,
Hokey
Or the
Pokey.
chicken dance.
Chicken
like if he was
dance.
doing like a bar mitzvah at a roller rink,
Yeah.
I would not have been surprised. I would have been like, okay, I saw this coming.
Okay, but so
The hokey pokey.
so I say that because I don't really think that that's so much on the DJ as it is to the lack of kind of
no, it was 100%
communication.
on the DJ. He was
How would he know what to
probably
play?
the worst DJ I've ever.
Well, when you
seen.
book them, you should go through that stuff.
But that's what I'm saying. They tried to work that out, and then he said that no one had there was no reach.
I kind of disagree. I feel like the people planning the wedding have a whole lot of other stuff going on. It's like if they had specific requests,
Sure.
I would
Well,
say.
well, you got to know what you're going to come out to. What the
Right, so they had those things ironed out.
The mother,
Yeah, the
whatever
mother daughter.
dance, yeah, and then like the groom's dance, and then like you got to have all that stuff. So when you then once you have all that ironed out, you go into okay, give me your mix. Like what
I mean,
kinda-
what Alex said, what she really wanted was rock music.
I did hear that the
Yeah.
night before.
Yeah, so
There you go. I feel like the DJ delivered.
no, not even on any level.
Oh.
I literally could have put any song on my phone and hit create a station, and it would have been better than it would have been 3 times better than what he did.
Wow.
Right, Boots?
Yeah, Phil agrees.
Phil.
That's Phil. That's Phil.
I think if they would have
Boots.
had the Mike
Phil
and
is-
Mike Productions DJ.
Phil
Probably
has not
would've-
changed the camera angle one.
I mean, if you were there, you would know. But how? Would you know?
Right. No, Boots was telling me about all the music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
we have the exact same setup that guy had. Speakers,
I know.
board, lights, everything would have been.
I know.
So it would have been Chet behind it instead of
Yeah.
that gentleman.
Chet was
So-
on strike. He didn't want.
so
he
the-
wanted to
Wait,
enjoy
he
the
wanted
party.
to enjoy the party.
know.
I understand
He
that.
looks good too, man. He dresses
Yeah.
up nice.
Yeah.
Sharp.
That's what
I
Boots
heard he
told
was fat.
Who?
Chet.
Boots. Oh, we're talking about.
Oh, Boots.
Oh,
You heard
wow.
Boots was
I,
fat?
someone said
That's not-
I did hear someone say
My friend
he,
Boots.
no, he walked over to me and goes, "Man, someone just said I was fat." And when I was
It
feeling,
wasn't.
like I was feeling
okay,
I
look,
was,
it
I was
wasn't.
slim.
That, it wasn't that. It wasn't
Yeah, I'm
that.
just saying.
It wasn't that Boots was fat.
Oh, okay.
It was that the vest only came to a part of his belly, and then the other part of his belly was
He's
under-
trying to
it
show off
just
them
seemed-
guns.
It
Okay.
seemed.
Yeah.
It
Made him
had
appear.
appeared. The illusion
It had
of.
appeared.
It was
I'm
like
just
it was
saying, he
kind of like
sulking for
Rihanna's
about
costume
15
made
I had
her
to
look
pick him up
pregnant.
off the ground. You know what I mean?
With the opening.
Yeah, his groomsman thing made him look pregnant.
You know what's really
like
remarkable?
when Rihanna came out, everybody goes, "Didn't she just have a baby? Is she pregnant?" Same conversation I heard about
Oh,
Boots.
Lord.
Yeah, identical.
Yeah,
You know the problem with Boots is Boots was really trying to die it down before the wedding. I mean there was a couple days there, out of a month where he was really
really tight on the foot,
yeah,
right.
He was really. I mean, the couple days after that he wasn't, but there were a few days that there were some attempts that he was.
He's pretty dedicated.
Yeah.
Did he show up in one of those wrestling, like the
Singlet thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, the bags that soak out all the.
Oh,
all
yeah,
the
yeah, the sweat bags.
Oh, like
Like
the
Vision
sweat,
Quest.
the sweat bags.
Suicide Fringe. I know you're out there.
What's amazing is it's not just two of us
Vision
beating,
Quest
beating
was
on
the name of
Boots.
that
It's all
movie.
four
Yeah.
of us.
Vision Quest.
Vision Quest. Yeah.
My poor friend Boots.
Vision Quest.
I only remember "Only the Lonely" from Journey.
Oh,
That's,
my
or Steve
goodness.
Perry.
Steve
That's the only song I
Perry.
remember from that movie.
All right, so
Super Bowl.
yeah, Super Bowl. Super Bowl kind of turned into a little
no,
bit
we
of a
missed
thing.
brunch. You can't skip over brunch.
Oh, brunch. Yeah, we
Brunch
did have
with
brunch.
moms?
I didn't
you,
make brunch.
you didn't attend brunch.
Oh man, the outfits were great. Mom showed up. Mom was flexing.
My mother always tries to drop the hammer on
Oh,
me.
your mother got a little uppity with the staff at the wedding.
I'm not surprised.
She told them she was not being paid attention to enough. She needs more appetizers and drinks to come by her.
Love that.
Yeah. So.
Well, I can
fantastic.
tell you when we hit peak. What's her nickname?
Bobshi?
Bobshi. When we hit peak Bobshi,
Yeah.
was when they put Electric Slide on.
Yeah. Oh, so you went out there.
They had to play it twice because she was so in the groove.
Oh.
You gotta
I mean,
let
it was
let
like
happen.
it was
She was
like
run that back.
exactly. It was like this was her moment to shine.
So
and she just did. She did her.
Yeah, she was telling us, "Do you know who I am?"
So I don't know if Bobshi was maybe she was inebriated, maybe she wasn't, but
No.
she had driven back to the hotel in my aunt's handicap van. She was the driver. My aunt was in her wheelchair in the back, and something had happened where Babji took quite a turn.
Didn't lock her down.
And I had to go and pick her up and
You had to
get
scoop
her.
her?
Yeah, I had to go
Scoop
get
her?
her back in the chair. Back in the chair.
Well, they
which-
kept swatting me on the ass when I walked by her too.
Oh, you're a contestant on The Price is Right, buddy.
Apparently, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll be your father after all, Michael.
Oh, that's great. Well, because Skip's about to take my wife, who went in with her for an apps last in mid.
Oh, yeah, he kept telling your wife to turn around.
Yeah.
And
She
she
caught
would,
me. She caught me mid ass slap and gave me a look like, no, you don't. That's we're gonna throw down if
This
you.
is the first and last
I'm like,
ass slap.
I'm like, you can't wear those shiny pink shorts and then
Yeah, it's
you
you
can't
know.
come in here with all that ass.
Yeah, it's just not
all that ass.
It's
and then
dangerous.
Yeah,
I agree.
Sobre cuando golpeó las nalgas de.
and
she
Arnold's like,
doesn't
no, he just does that. He just does that.
No, she said that. Then she comes over and she's like, "Oh, qué vergüenza."
and then Jamie says, well, he gets one a year with me. So
That's
Brittany
it.
goes, okay, he gets one a year with me. It's like, look at
just don't waste them on the same day. Space it out.
it has its own center of gravity. That ass.
Yeah. So brunch.
Yeah, so so that was kind of a unique kind of thing because it was brunch with the family,
Yes.
and she had gotten there and had the tables all selected
Yeah.
out. Meanwhile, there's like this Valentine brunch that's going on over here that
Yes.
we're setting up for, that had all the good food.
Yeah.
But then the basic brunch that we had was just like, you know,
Your
want a
standard
waffle,
brunch.
you want a waffle, a pancake, or
Right.
you know,
It's your Hampton Inn special, but with a cook.
That was an upgrade from
Yeah.
Hampton Inn. It was a little nicer than that.
Yeah,
but
Hampton Inn
yeah.
special with a cook.
Yeah. So then, but there was this like a little tension when we went to go sit down.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, we can go in the other room. Like, hey,
So-
you know, like,
Mike's like, can I just pretend I'm with the Valentine's party?
Well, so my mom's got this thing where there's this immediate family post wedding thing because she did it in mine too, and this is where the groom gets it's like sitting with Mickey Mouse, right? So the groom will come down and sit
she wants
with
to show him off.
yeah, like this is her moment, and she has these 2 tables reserved for immediate family. So I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna sit down. She's like, but you have 2 people that aren't immediate family. I go, well, they're family to me. So if you don't want me to fucking sit at this table, I'll go sit over there. She's like, oh no, that's okay. I'm like, oh great, thanks so much. We'll sit down. So then we sit down, and she's like, hey, just want you to know, I'm gonna cover all of it, and I'll cover your friends too. I'm like, okay, great. Thanks thank you.
You don't got to cover mine.
yeah, we're
Thanks
not
so much.
worried. We're
Yeah,
not worried
I'm
about
like,
that.
I'm like, how many times do I sit down at a fucking dinner and I don't have to fucking reach in my wallet when I'm with these 2 guys? You know what I mean? Either
Right.
one of you. Yeah, it's not going to be an issue. Don't worry. If you don't want to cover theirs, I'll cover theirs for fuck's sake. So, but it was, it was comical for me. It's always interesting.
It was a
Any
good
any
time.
type of interaction with Babshi. So she's been trying lately. I will give her that. There has been more effort on Babshi's end when it comes to like child involvement and other
She was really
things.
liking the pictures with the kids.
Yeah, so
I think you had them all bathed and cleaned up and everything. She was really taking an opportunity to get some
It was a
quality
Saturday night
pictures.
bathing.
those kids are bathed every fucking day.
I know. I'm
Every
just
day.
kidding. That they're still savages.
They are sad.
Yeah, but
Those kids are
the little
savages.
dress that got chocolate milk spilled all over. So
Oh yeah. Oh, we did have that too. Yeah.
yeah. So she had a special dress.
Teddy,
on,
yeah.
right. Teddy had a.
She was in her 90 because she refused to get out of it.
That was the
Wouldn't that
coolest
change?
dress.
Yeah, it was cool,
Yeah,
right?
she's- I'm a princess.
But then somehow, like she was sitting next to one over, and I could just
Yeah.
kind of keep scooching the cup up, right? And
Yeah.
I was like, that's gonna fall eventually.
Yeah.
And sure as shit, it did. So
Yeah, it went all over.
and then it was, oh, my dress is wet.
yeah, that happened. That definitely went down. It was good shit.
Yeah.
Anything
Okay.
else from the brunch?
Well, I can see why this is the #1 cigar podcast.
Oh, yeah,
we
exactly
totally
it.
are number 1, which is insane.
Yeah.
Just happened.
But for all the people who didn't get invited, Keanu,
It was a cigar
basically we just
hustler's wedding.
we basically just summed it up for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some drinking, a little smoking,
Yeah.
celebrating,
smoking.
A lot of
dancing.
smoking.
Yeah.
I got kicked out for smoking.
Where?
Did you?
Yeah, I was like on the edge of the door window thing.
Oh, they had opened
sitting,
them up. Yeah.
And she's like, you're gonna have to move. I'm like, you're gonna want me to move 2 feet that way? Yes. You can't smoke in here. I'm like, okay. So I stood 2 feet away, blew the smoke into the room. Not intentionally, but
It just happened.
it was
the way it
it
works.
was the wedding Nazi lady.
Yeah.
She was having none of that.
She's tough.
Smoke Nazis.
Like, didn't you guys used to smuggle slaves through down here and illegal speakeasy bar? Like,
But there was a
New times,
speakeasy
brother.
bar in the basement.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then it used to connect to the house over on the corner.
But they had like underground railroad tunnels or something going through there.
Yeah, sometimes he's like, they explained that one of the tunnels linked to the
The other
friend's
house
house
up
or
on the
something.
corner there.
And I'm like, so was
His
he
best
fucking
friend.
his wife or something? That was the first thing I
So
said.
the
like,
gardener could come over.
yeah,
and-
like, come on, man, dude, give me a fucking break. He went to go hang out with
It had
his
all
boy.
the old pineapple symbols all the way through.
down the hallway.
Yeah. And then we did a little Super Bowl action at the house.
That was not. That was probably. That's maybe the best Super Bowl party I've ever been to.
Oh wow.
Ever.
I think so.
Thanks.
I've been to a lot of Super Bowl things.
Well, the food decoration and layout spread was pretty dope.
That is 100% all Brittany.
I would say that's
Yeah.
Brittany.
Yeah, she went nuts. I mean, this was kind of formulated quickly, right? So you're like, hey, why don't we just come watch the game in your house? I'm like, okay, and that was the end of it. I didn't think any more of it. You guys are gonna come or whatever, and we'll watch the game. Well, she's like, well, what are we doing for food? I'm like, okay, well, we could just cook pork, just put in.
I thought we were gonna get a sushi boat.
Next time we'll have a
Next
sushi
time.
boat. Yeah.
Oh, sushi.
I did get my Fritos and
Yeah, the problem is that Skip will be there and I can't do a sushi boat because then
can
I have
do
to
it.
do two different spreads at that
Yeah.
point, which we'll do if you want. But now I'm throwing away way more food.
my favorite part of the whole Super Bowl, because every call or uncall, everybody would argue about it, and I'm like, look, let's just ask Jax. Jax calls every one of them correctly.
No, he even called the score
He's
whenever
the-
when
he's the ultimate arbiter.
The touchdown pass to AJ Brown. Yeah, he called that.
He's pretty good, man. He's all about the
He
sport.
called the over.
He
I asked him
was.
about
They were
the-
laying on the ground because there was no seats. They were like laying on the ground. Him and the kid he plays football with.
Yep,
So
Levi.
somebody'd be having some conversation like, "Oh, he got traded from the," and Jax would be like, "Steelers."
Yeah, we talked about Smith Schuster.
like every little bit of trivia or whatever. Like, "Oh, he used to play for
Yep.
the Steelers." Like he knew all. He
knows all that shit.
knows all the facts, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize. I thought that Smith Schuster went the year before, but he's like, no, it was this year. I'm like, I don't know.
And then he Googles it. I'm like,
Like,
why
son of a
are you
bitch.
questioning Jax?
So stupid. I'm so stupid.
Oh no, the halftime show. This is the most inappropriate halftime show ever.
That's what he was saying.
And then he started reenacting it.
Yeah, I thought the halftime show was great. I thought the game was fucking fantastic.
It was a good game. I don't like the way it ended, but
It would have ended in the same
that's-
fashion.
I mean, it's football.
yeah.
I just don't like taking the knee. It's like you're in the championship game, man. Throw for a touchdown.
Yeah.
But then that's why I'm not an NFL coach.
Dude, everybody who had money on that game was pissed, right? Like fucking throw the touchdown, throw the
Oh,
touchdown.
McKinnon took a knee right at the one.
Weren't the Eagles the favorite anyway?
Yeah, I think they were.
Yeah, they were the
Were they
favorite.
plus 3.5?
They'd already beat the spread, but
It was remarkable. I thought it was a great game. I mean,
I enjoyed the game.
Mahomes the champion for sure. I mean, playing through a high ankle sprain for 2 games, you can't take that away from somebody, And I got to be honest, I think that as far as Jalen Hurts go, I'm kind of a fan at this point. Some of the fucking throws that I saw that kid do, I'm like, my fucking
I'm gonna give you a
God.
stat that I read on Facebook, so it has to be true.
Yeah, it's totally
Must be.
legit. Yeah,
Of all the quarterbacks that made their debut
in the Super Bowl.
at the Super Bowl, which this doesn't even make any sense. They've never won another. They never made another appearance.
But
That
like,
can't, that
if
can't
they
be true because they all at some point made their first.
so if they
appearance, right?
if they played the first time ever in the Super Bowl, they've never been back, and they lost. They never came back. Is what you're saying?
I think that's what it said.
That would make sense. I mean, I think that first of all, I think that Jalen Hurts is very capable of breaking that.
Trend.
Yeah, because I think that on a psychological level, a lot of quarterbacks can be broken with that situation, right? Plus all the other variables of getting there, right?
Yeah.
But that kid's pretty fucking talented, man. I was,
And he doesn't have a lot of help on that team.
no.
The defense didn't show up for the Super Bowl like they had all year, but I mean, if they just add a few pieces to that team, they're going to be like, they could be 2 or 3.
He was the only running threat.
Hear me out on this. He's a free agent. Maybe he comes to Tampa
or Dallas.
or Dallas.
If he doesn't want to play in a Super Bowl, he definitely should.
No, I'm sure they're going to throw a ton of money at him.
Yeah, they have to because those throws.
I don't know if those fans deserve Jalen Hurts. That's the thing.
Well,
No,
Eagles fans are tough.
The
Just
first
like
year,
Alabama
they were
didn't
running
deserve
out.
him,
Yeah.
I don't think Philadelphia deserves him.
Yeah.
Even trade Dak for Jalen, straight up. Would you take it?
Not if you had to pay him a ton of money.
Straight up, same salary, everything.
No, I think they ought to get rid of Dak, get a good, decent quarterback, and put money into a lot of other things.
Okay.
Well, they were saying that the Chiefs spent $100 million just in their offensive line this year in salary, which is huge.
It showed off. I mean, it
Yeah.
showed
Yeah,
up.
I mean, he had
Zero
time.
sacks.
I tell
Zero
you-
sacks.
And I tell you what I
In
noticed
the
in that
second
game
half.
is the tackling on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they were wrapping up and tackling. So many times now in the NFL, you see him hitting,
right.
but you don't see him tackling.
Yeah, and if you hit the wrong portion, then they just bounce off and
I
keep
mean, there
going.
were a lot of like third and where they stopped them right before the first down.
Yeah, they were using leverage.
I mean, the one thing that was really kind of remarkable too was Mahomes' run in the center. He went up straight through the O line, and he got like 30 or 40
And
yards.
you could see he kept wanting. He goes,
Yeah.
ankle or touchdown, ankle or
Right.
touchdown.
Yeah, but it just seemed like Philadelphia wasn't going after him at that point to make that play.
They didn't have any pass rush.
But,
Yeah, it was
but
crazy.
For me, it was a good game.
It was fantastic.
The worst part of the Super Bowl for me was when I opened up Facebook. I hadn't touched my phone the whole game, and I opened up Facebook, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
See, I know that we were all having a good time if you weren't on your fucking phone.
It's so toxic, though. I mean, everything on Facebook.
yeah,
It's-
worst halftime show ever.
I left going, man, that was such a good time. Whenever I get back to the hotel, I take a shower, I'm relaxing, and I'm like, toxic. Fucking horrible.
Yep. That's standard approach, sadly. But I had a great time. It was a great Super Bowl.
No, good time.
Great little event,
Yeah.
Yeah, I needed a weekend, too. It's been a tough 6 months.
Yeah.
Me and Arlen needed a week out of Nicaragua.
Well, I'm glad that you guys I'm glad that Greg got married. Glad that worked out.
It was nice.
So now next time you need another week out, you come back and we go.
All right. We'll be back for the baby, I guess, in April.
The baby.
Greg's having a baby.
The grandbaby.
What grandbaby?
Tiarella's niece.
Oh. But that's not here.
No, but I'll be back in the States.
Okay. All right.
I'm sure
So-
Jeff will try to wrap it into an event.
Probably.
It'll parlay.
Yeah.
It'll be a
Yeah.
match cigar bar event.
Well, we've been working on this cigar, and by we, I mean I've put very, very little effort into it because I've been so wrapped up in other stuff. And Jeff's like, hey, did you smoke those cigars? I'm like, no. So he's
I'll
like,
get to it. I'll get to it.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll get to it.
It's okay. So, I mean, if you want to talk a little industry jive, so you do have a couple things going, right? That's one thing, which is kind of exciting. Yeah.
I'm more just kind of like an executive producer of that.
Right.
So I get my name on it, but I didn't really put much work in.
But is it happening out of Nico Sueño?
Hang on, before we get into that, are we gonna smoke another cigar? Because I'm like,
Well, this
You
is
can
for the
go ahead- that's
Patreon.
for the Patreon.
You
You
can
can go ahead and light it up
Light
now.
it up right now. So we're gonna review the Aganorsa
because
Supreme.
If not,
League.
I'm gonna go over here in this bag and get something. Out
Open it up.
The bag?
No,
Or the cigar?
smoke it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You can tell us how you feel about it.
Do you need to take a timeout?
No.
Okay. Now we can go into it.
Do you have another sponsor for a live read?
No.
No. We just have the one.
Why do you think we're number one?
'Cause there's no sponsors.
Okay. So you were saying where were we at?
So there are a couple things that are going in the pipeline with Roma, right? This one's not Roma, obviously, but Jeff Moutet.
Well, so
You got to give some background.
we were
So
sorting.
Yeah.
We were sorting through the tobacco.
Jeff's son
Yes.
and Skip's daughter met at Weaselfest,
Right.
the first
worry
go
about that.
around in Austin, Texas, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they springboarded into,
Glad you're here, Michael.
hey, we're going to get together. And she moves to Indiana, and now they become a thing.
Right.
So fast forward, boom,
That-
she's pregnant.
That thing becomes a baby.
Yeah. And so then Jeff is staying a
Which
lot of...
she is 27 years old. So
No, I mean, there's some time. I'm saying...
It's not like
honestly,
she's- it's not like
I'm
she's
surprised
16.
it didn't happen sooner.
No,
I like- I like that you're
talking about-
backpedaling.
No, they're what, 2.5 years?
They're in a
together?
relationship.
Yeah, they've been together 2.5 years. So I'm not saying it's like fast. I'm just saying
Yeah.
they met at the first Weasel Fest,
Right.
right? Which was 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So and then now they're at this point in their lives. So anyways, so Jeff's been spending a lot of time down at the factory in Nicaragua and going back between Esteli and San Juan. Somewhere on the line, they're doing some rearranging, find some old tobacco and says, hey, what are you going to do with this? And says, hey, could we do a cigar with this? And so that was 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, Jess asked me for a while to do a project with him, and
And now he lives next to you, so there's no escaping him.
Can't put him off now.
But
I think he mentioned it when he was on the show with you that time.
Yeah.
no, but there's all these kind of tobacco, so 100 pounds is generally how you store tobacco.
Right.
And there's a bunch of them that aren't 100 pounds, which gets on my nerves.
Okay.
So like there's some old Mata Norte, there's some this wrapper we use for Abaddon that we've had for 6 or 7 years. It's a Criollo, Nicaraguan wrapper. Then there's some other tobaccos, German tobaccos, Cuban tobacco. There's other tobaccos that we haven't used in a while or don't use much. And so they're all sitting around Alex and him, and they're talking about, oh, well, we could do a blend and da 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 da. So I was kind of half listening. I was like, get a piece of paper or pull out your phone.
Write that down.
Listen, wrap, binder, filler 1, filler 2, filler 3, filler 4. Change the binder to this, change the binder to this, make 50 of each or 20 of each or whatever.
Right.
I said, one of those is going to be it. And they're like, oh, no, but we should do this, that, the other. And then I guess about 2 months down the road, they're like, actually the best one is one of those first ones. I'm like, I told you.
Okay. So you just came in and said, hey, hand me the ball. I'll put it up, and then you guys can just fucking join the victory.
Yeah, so I don't know which one it's going to be yet because sometimes, especially with really aged tobacco, when you wet it to work it, it changes a little bit. So once you have to let it dry out before you kind of really know how the blend's going to work together.
Right.
Especially if it's mild tobacco. So anyway.
Well, that's cool.
It'll be one of those. And then we have...
You dropped a Frenchie. Surprise.
Yeah, so I got a call. Hey, we're having a hard time. So a lot of this Habano is not dark enough for Aquitaine. It's not the right texture for Whiskey Rebellion. What do you want us to do? And I said, let's do. So we were doing Sabretooth, and I said, you know what? Do a Don Bosco kind of version of Sabretooth where you turn it inside out. And so then, Aquitaine is a region in France.
And
everybody calls D'Oliver Frenchie.
Now, how pussy hurt was Tyler when you fucking did that? Did you see the little tear comment that he made? Because he has that be so horny, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's the best. Hang on. You want to finish
Let's
this?
go.
So anyway, that's why we were doing that. We're gonna find some charity to make to go along with it because it'll be kind of a one-time deal, but
okay,
kind of like Don Bosco.
That's cool.
And then
can we do 5,000 boxes? Let's go.
I think we're making 10,000
boxes.
10,000
cigars. Because if we do $1 a cigar, it's $10,000 to some charity.
That's cool.
I think it may.
Mike and Mike Productions always we're a 501c3.
Exactly.
Cool.
Hey, you know what?
No,
but that's cool. You know what? I do a fucking. Brittany helps run that auction for St. Mary Mag, the whole thing, and that's awesome because you know what? That's the community that you're kind of growing up with. That's something that Fiorella's in, and they're super appreciative when you do something.
Well,
like
the thing about the school is it's an English expat school, but they have scholarships for Nicaraguan kids to go there, and it's interesting because Fiorella's Nicaraguan, and she's a native Spanish speaker who learned English just during COVID, but because she doesn't look Nicaraguan. Like even like in her Spanish class, they're like, Spanish is a second language. Like Spanish is not her second language.
Right.
But she ends up translating a lot for the other kids.
No shit.
In school. So I think if we could do some scholarships for some kids, that would be nice.
That's cool.
Anyway, so we have that going. We have not to skip past the Tyler story, but
yes, we can't skip past the.
No, it's pinned.
Tyler's.
It's okay.
Okay.
We've got. So we've had challenges with Autopodaca. I mean,
that's the Intemperance BA.
Yeah, nothing we're making is less quality than anything we've ever made. In fact, I think in a lot of ways we're doing better in a lot of ways than we ever have before.
I would agree with that statement.
But I had to make a call that, with the exit of our old partner, there were a lot of weird things that happened with tobacco.
Right.
I'll just leave it at that. And so the Autopodaca we have doesn't meet my standards. I thought I always thought we had 6-7 years of Arapiraca, which we had, but it wasn't the quality. I don't know if it got switched out or what. It just got mismanaged. I don't know, but it's not the cigars we were making 6 months ago. Just the wrapper quality is not there, so we had to make a lot of like. There were more than half of the cigars we made where I said I'm just not going to put this
releasing
out.
them.
So so we basically threw away 18,000, 20,000 cigars.
Wow.
And we didn't throw them away. I mean, we
Right.
sold them
Oh.
for like 50 cents to some, or 80 cents or whatever it was we sold them for. But so Arapiraca is on the shelf until we find some more. And the problem with Arapiraca is it has to be aged properly. So we found a couple of different people who had old Arapiraca that didn't want it. Like Perdomo had some, but it's mostly binder. So we may yield some wrapper out of that, and it's really good aged. It's
Right.
natural, which is hard to find. It's not cooked. But Luciano's working on something with that with binders. So if any wrapper yields out of that, we'll be able to make a small amount of BA. But until we actually we were planning a trip to go to Brazil. The guy who used to run GK in Esteli is now running Brazil for not Lancaster Leaf, for Inatab. So we're going to make a trip down to Brazil and talk to them, maybe talk to Jesus Fuego's family. But most people don't like Arapiraca, so it's hard to find the kind of Arapiraca we use. So anyway, that's when we started working on Volstead. So I started working with Sumatra with Ernie. And Mike for years has been saying, hey, let's make it a Sumatra cigar. And I'm like, I don't like Sumatra. But then I kind of learned the finer points of Sumatra from Ernesto and his team. So I'm like, okay, I can do this.
You know when your wife says she's got something going on in her car, and it's like, yeah, I don't hear it. And they take it to a mechanic, like, yeah, it needs some work. I'm like, yeah, I've been telling you that the whole time.
It's like that ad, the TV dad, like the TV dad ad where he goes, oh, maybe we should do this, and they ignore it, and the TV dad says this, like, oh, that's great.
That's a
advice.
great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking,
Hear me out on this.
No, but Volstead is really good. I'm excited about that. It's a hybrid Sumatra, so it's actually not the original Sumatra, which I'm not a big fan of.
Is that going to be released at PCA?
It won't. It'll be before PCA, I think.
Yeah.
We don't really
shit,
tie
we're already in
releases.
February,
We don't
bro.
really tie releases to PCA.
Yeah.
A lot of it will probably get sold at PCA.
Right.
And then we have a broadleaf problem.
Right.
So right now we're using, and I've been looking for broadleaf every year. I've spent 4 or 5 trips in the Dominican speaking to Frank Miller and his team to find real Connecticut broadleaf. What's happening in the industry, a lot of people, won't say this, but a lot of people who've made Connecticut broadleaf cigars in the past have started switching it to other broadleaves.
I fucking hate that
Because
shit.
now
man.
there's Dominican broadleaf, there's Nicaraguan broadleaf, there's Ecuador broadleaf, there's
Just say that you're doing it, though. Why not just say what you're doing?
Yeah, we went. Some guy was like, "Yeah, I got a box ready to go. It's this, that, and the other," and swore up and down it was Connecticut broadleaf. I'm like, "There's no way this is." And then, sure as shit when you get into it.
as soon as I smelled it, I knew it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was Pennsylvania broadleaf.
But it had the elasticity.
That's a huge difference.
right? It had the look and it had the elasticity, but it didn't have the aroma, right?
or the flavor.
Right. So when you really kind of get into it, and that's really with any, there's a lot of these hybrids that are out there. Like if you smoke them one-on-one, they just really lack in one way or the other, right? Whether it's the depth of the flavor or the texture, right?
Yeah. So about 7 months ago, I found at Grand Island, he was preparing a lot of broadleaf for a different company, for Altadis, I think. And I said, hey, just take the thickest, best of it, 6,000 pounds, whatever you can do, and just keep fermenting it slow and low. I'll be back in January, February. He goes, well, that's going to cost a lot more. I'm like, I don't care. Just
you want it done the right way.
yeah. So we're going to come out with a Pennsylvania broadleaf project. The blend is awesome. So if this wrapper is as good as I think it's going to be, then we'll come out with that closer to the end of the year. But instead of just changing our broadleaf to Pennsylvania, we're going to actually come out with a new Cro-Magnon line.
That's cool.
Yeah. So we actually have we have a decent amount of BA and Cro-Magnon right now in the pipeline.
Right.
But once that's gone, it's going to be gone for a year or two at least.
No, we've exhausted a lot of, like the Avarice. Like I think the Avarice is sold out. I think Reach of the Peace is done. So I mean,
Yeah.
we have it. It's coming in, but it's already accounted for.
Right.
So,
Right.
You know,
right. But there is a decent amount of. There's probably another 150,000 to 200,000.
yeah, I think
Cro-Magnon.
based on the numbers, I think we'll probably be done with Cro-Magnon probably at the end of March, first part of April.
Yeah, and now that we have our own pre-industry, we were taking a lot of the light-colored Connecticut broadleaf, the stuff that wasn't really Cro-Magnon. We put it back into a Pilone, so now it's got like a year more in Pilone, and it's been real low, and we're going to get a lot of wrapper out of that too. But I don't know. Arlen's sister kind of took over as our sorting, our Resaga, the person who sorts the cigars for packaging.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just like super hardcore.
Yeah.
So our segundo rate went up a lot. And instead of saying, "Hey, no, don't be so picky,"
Right.
I went back to the wrapper ladies and said, "Look, this is the standard. I don't know what it was before.
Right.
I have never been that concerned with the way the wrapper looks, but
It's different
I
now.
get it. I
Right.
get why, because especially now it's like, well, Esteban left, so the quality's going to go down or whatever.
Right.
So I'm like, let's go the other direction.
Right.
The quality's going to go up.
The Cigar Hustlers podcast, its owners, and its sponsors take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show host or their guest. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of Mike and Mike Productions or the podcast providers, and opinions between talk show hosts may differ. It is not our intention to libel, incite, or hurt anyone's feelings. We invite you to write the show's host, Mike Stepankevich, with any feedback or suggestions that you have for their shows. These broadcasts are presented and made public as entertainment in the hope that they will be entertaining to the audience.